All right, welcome back, airplane enthusiasts and or aviation enthusiasts and fellow aircraft builders. I wanted to show you quite what I think is a fairly impressive sight, if I do say so myself. I've got a table full of parts here. This represents about 99%, well, maybe 95% of what I've already built to this point. So we've got all the little structural parts that make up the wings, some of the fuselage, angles, stiffeners, got brackets for control systems, the flaperon arms, some tail ribs, all kinds of other brackets and fittings, the toe pedal brake. I've got strut fittings and wing attach fittings, more tail ribs, slat supports, elevator nose ribs, channels, more elevator rear ribs, parts of the firewall, wing root doublers, flaperon ribs, all kinds of splice plates and gussets, wing fittings, more attached fittings and supports. These are the seat supports. These are the tip ribs for the elevator. I've got the flaperon, excuse me, those are the slat ribs. Those are the flaperon ribs there. More tail section rear ribs for the horizontal stabilizer. Wing spar tips, fuel channel web. There's another one of those around here somewhere. It's actually in the fuel tank right now. Root ribs, root nose ribs. All the channel angle that's needed to build the flaperons and the wings. That's the flaperon spars and the wing channels. I've got some actual fuselage uprights here, some doubler strips. I've got the trim tab for the elevator here, spar root doublers, more little pieces down here. You can barely see channel angles and everything else. Already made one of the fuel tanks. I've got to bend up the second one. These are the ribs for the other fuel tank. That's the fuel tank underneath the Tyvek there with the one fuel channel rib in there. And then if we go over here to the floor, I've got the horizontal stabilizer front spar and rear spar blanks, as well as the elevator spar blank, and some doublers for the wings that have to be bent up on a really long brake or a heavy duty brake, which I'm going to do tomorrow at a friend's. I've got the firewall formed. The rudder is already built. Up there on the ceiling you can see the or towards the ceiling I should say, you can see the wing spar webs. There's two of those. They're mirror images of each other. I need to flange the lightning holes on those and then assemble them. Up there you can see here there's some channel brackets, and that's what the upper and lower spar caps are made out of, and then the smaller angle up there is what the fuselage sides are made out of. Behind this protective cardboard here, I've got the cabin floor cut right there, and I've got various other skins and some non-structural pieces started, but all of that represents approximately 7 months worth of work, maybe 8 months worth of work, because I had a few months into tooling back in 2011 before I took a small break from that. So this right here represents about half the airplane. I still have to make up the fuselage parts and a few other things for the wings and the slats, but those are just small fittings. And so I'm pretty much ready to start assembly on the wings, the slats, the flaperons, and the horizontal tail. So if your plan's building an airplane, I don't normally recommend you just build all the parts first. It gets a little boring just making part after part after part without seeing any visual accomplishment other than the parts themselves, which is why I built the rudder. But if you work your butt off for 6 or 8 months, you can have all these parts made. And so I'm ready to put together the bulk of the airplane aside from the fuselage. And once I get these structures assembled, I'm going to go ahead and then start the fuselage itself. I did already make several fuselage parts, and that's just because I was using up sheets of material I had. And you know, if I had a little bit of 25 thousandths and needed to make a few more parts, and for the fuselage, I went ahead and just used it up and made a couple extra parts. But most of these represent the non-fuselage parts, which is what I wanted to focus on first. So if you stick to it and put in a good, I think I've probably got an average of 10 to 15 hours per week for 7 months, and I built all of this. People say you need to put 20 hours a week in average on your plane to be able to finish it in a reasonable amount of time. That may be true, and I haven't figured out what my average will be because I'm not done with the plane yet, but this represents 10 to 15 hours a week for about 6 or 7 months. So just wanted to show you that progress. I think it's a pretty impressive site. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your projects, and let me know if you have any questions.